Good afternoon. We'll get started in a moment. Last minute we're setting up. Thank you everyone for joining. And once it gets settled, we'll get underway.
That's what he said.
All right, good afternoon, and welcome to Honeybrook, let's say closest mic, the Honeybrook Veterans Ceremony. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. The Honeybrook Veterans Ceremony is an opportunity for us to pause for a moment and to honor the veterans who serve in the United States Armed Forces in peacetime and in war. My name is John McHugh. I'm a Honeybrook Township Supervisor. I have Rich Florio from Honeybrook Borough, the Councilman. I have Frank Atkins from Telhai Community. I'll take a step back for a moment and just say that the first time I hosted a Veterans Day ceremony was in 1975. I had just been back from overseas, and I was in college. Back in those days, there wasn't an event that we did too much of, veteran ceremonies. So during that ceremony, we had the opportunity, the president of the college was a World War II veteran, and he thanked us for conducting that ceremony. So I call out the fact that he's a World War II veteran, because that is what we're doing today. We want to acknowledge our World War II veterans. In addition to that, there will be other veterans that will be coming up, or we will be presenting some recognition to with the plaque. At that point, what I'm going to do now is we'll start the ceremony and we'll acknowledge the presentation of the colors. So if we have Group 9, please come forward.
Everybody, please rise for the presentation of colors. Color guard, action. Color guard, present the colors. Color guard, post the colors. Can everybody please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The audience may be seated. Color guard dismissed.
Good afternoon. My name is Rich Florio, and I'm the councilman for the Borough of Honeybrook. I'd like to do the invitation. Would you bow your heads, please? We come before you, Lord, to honor both our veterans and those who are currently serving or being asked to go at harm's way yet again. Since the Revolutionary War, the members of our armed forces have answered the call when they were needed and put their lives on the line for our citizens and our country. Many have been wounded, many have made the ultimate sacrifice, Lord, but they've always answered the call to our nation and to other people and nations that needed our help in times of trouble. We ask, Lord, as we honor our veterans here today, that you protect our men and women who are currently serving, that you bring them safely back, that you give comfort and peace to their loved ones as they wait. And we ask again, Lord, that you bless all those who have served our country and those who are doing so today, as they are the backbone of this great nation. Amen. Right now, I'd like to introduce Fran Atkins, whose granddaughter, by the way, is serving now in Romania.
Good morning, everybody. I want to tell you about Veterans Day and what it means and how it came to be. We do celebrate our veterans today. That's why we're gathered together. Many of us know that Veterans Day was first recognized as Armistice Day, first celebrated November 11th, 1919, 104 years ago. It was celebrated on that date because that was the first anniversary of the armistice that ended the First World War. The war known at the time as the war to end all wars. Indeed. We've come a long way in the last 104 years, and we've learned a lot along the way. Significantly, we've learned that we still need our military. We still need our servicemen and women. And additionally, we've learned that we are deeply indebted to our veterans for having pulled us through the 20th century, as they did. Sadly, we acknowledge it's very likely that no war will ever be the war to end all wars. And as long as that truth endures, we will continue to acknowledge that we are indebted to and appreciative of our servicemen and women and our veterans. So we celebrate our veterans today. That's the why we're here. I'd like to tell you about the who. You can see on the slide, a veteran is someone who is willing to write a blank check to the United States of America, that's you and me, for any amount up to and including their very life. I asked our veterans what it meant to them to be a veteran. They told me a veteran is willing. They're willing to go and they're willing to step up. A veteran is willing to leave his comfort zone, say goodbye to family and friends. They're willing to follow orders, just to do or die and not question why. A veteran is not willing to leave a single soldier behind, nor are they willing to let the flag fall in battle. Instead, a veteran is willing and proud to go to carry the flag into battle, even though it makes them a more visible target for imminent fire. Veteran is willing to accept the heartache. I'm getting my slides out of order, sorry. To accept the heartache of writing the letters home that no family wants to receive. The letter that says, "We regret to inform you." By their very nature, Well, anyway, forget the slides. They are an oxymoron. Their outward appearance is hard muscle, cold steel, but they exhale the very breath of the milk of human kindness and brotherly love. They're willing to pursue a cause greater than themselves. Most of our veterans had never picked up a gun, let alone fired one. And they respected the God-given breath of life, but they were willing to learn how to extinguish that if duty required. When veterans meet other veterans, they don't care about the length of service or the exposure to combat or risk. They just care about the willingness to have served. And Abraham Lincoln does remind us to recognize our veterans and honor them, and also the citizens who made their service possible. And now I would like to introduce you, as soon as I find my place, sorry about that, to Representative Dan Williams, who is here with us today.
Good afternoon to Ms. Atkins, to Mr. Florio, to Mr. McHugh, and certainly to my colleague, Senator Brook. It's an honor to be with you today, and I must admit that this moment feels like a sacred moment. I've appreciated the singing, and I've appreciated what I think is the ethos to celebrate those who have sacrificed so much. And so I'd like to be a good steward of our time. Again, my name is Dan Williams, and I do serve as a member of the Veteran Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee in Harrisburg. I am happy to serve in that space, and quite frankly, what it does is it gives me another appreciation for what it is we're celebrating here today. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Pennsylvania ranks 42nd in terms of spending for veteran services. And people like myself and Senator Brook are always working to rectify that because we believe we can actually do more. My suspicion is that most of us in this room will spend a good portion of our lives wondering whether or not we really made a difference. I submit to you, those of you who are veterans, who have served, never ever have to wonder about that. Those in this room who may not know whether or not our lives have counted, you should be clear that your life has made a difference in the lives of us all. And we are grateful for your sacrifice and for your contribution. I realize that on a day like today, our hearts are full, and admittedly, I'm clear that this is the land of the free only because it is the home of the brave. And when I think of some of the things that we want to be working towards in Harrisburg, just know there are several pieces of bipartisan legislation that all of us are working collectively on. Of all the committees that I serve on, the committee where there is the least rancor, the least tension, is Veteran Affairs and Emergency Preparedness. And that's because most of my colleagues recognize we have an obligation to you, and our commitment is to serve you. And so on behalf of myself and obviously grateful members of the Commonwealth, let me once again say thank you for your sacrifice. It's an honor. I was just glad it wasn't mine. It is a real honor to be a part of this celebration. There will be citations, I'm sure, on days like this provided for you. And it will be an attempt, a sincere attempt to say thank you and to honor you for your work. But know for sure, for certain, that this is not our opportunity to honor you. You have honored us, and we are so very grateful. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Williams. Right now, I'd like to introduce Senator Katie Booth, who represents the 44th District.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm State Senator Katie Muth. I represent parts of Chester, Berks, and Montgomery County, and we're sitting here in Senate District 44. I was saying to Representative Williams, this has been one of my favorite veterans events to attend since I was elected. First came here in 2019 and was welcomed with beyond a warm welcome. So many familiar faces here, family members of people who also live here. Certainly one of my favorite spots in Senate District 44. So again, thank you to the township and to the borough for organizing this, and to the Telhai staff and veterans, members of your club, for bringing us all together today on an amazing occasion to celebrate and also spend a moment in gratitude to say thank you. As you've heard earlier, we know that it is a day to honor those who served our country and wore the uniform in our Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or Coast Guard. All of the brave service members serving in times of peace and in times of conflict, facing challenges with unwavering resolve and moments. And to all of our veterans and our active duty service members, our National Guard members, Pennsylvania has one of the largest National Guards in the country, and our reservists here in the audience today, I just want to say thank you for continuing to provide your service and your heart and hustle to our country. And also, as we reflect on all of our service members' dedication to defending our nation, we must recognize the impact of the sacrifices that extend far beyond any battlefield. Those are lifelong impacts, and that is one of the goals of the Senate Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee, as well as in the House, to better serve our veterans as they come back and re-enter civilian life. What it was like maybe years ago is different from what it's like now. And we have a long way to go, as Representative Williams mentioned, in ensuring adequate funding for our veterans here that live in our Commonwealth. And we are one of the states with the highest veterans population in the nation. And I just want to say also, take a moment to acknowledge the families of all of our service members and veterans who sacrificed so much, giving up a member of your family, often for years. And I was actually at a Vietnam veterans, the Wall That Heals. I don't know if you've read about it. They bring a replica of the wall with everyone's name on it, and they have brought it into Montgomery County in Senate District 44 last week. And I had a constituent and a friend who I hadn't seen in a bit, and she said, you know, my dad served in Vietnam. He was gone the entire time I was in 4th grade. And I kind of just, and I didn't know her father had served, or that he was a veteran. And I thought to myself, 4th grade, to not have your dad the whole 4th grade. And so just thinking about those situations and how they impact families and how brave families are, and for supporting their loved one that is far away and often for a long period of time. Since 2021, I've served as the Democratic chair of the Senate Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee. It is certainly one of the most meaningful experiences so far, being a senator, getting to talk to veterans of all ages and even our younger National Guard members, learning about the things that they're struggling with, home ownership, making sure they have adequate job resources, and then also just getting to hear the stories of what they've been through. And many of you have been humble enough to share your story with me here, and I've enjoyed some laughs and some tears listening to your experiences, which helps me make better policy. Without input from those who have been impacted by something, it's very difficult to make meaningful policy. And as Representative Williams mentioned, our committee in the Senate tends to be one of the least partisan battles. So that is one of the high points. It's not always like that in the Senate, where things have certainly become very turbulent and divided. And as we are all watching the news lately, I think we can all take a moment to think about, and I'm sure it has brought up some memories for some veterans of what they experienced when they've served our country overseas and what they witnessed and the things they went through. And I think there's no more empathetic group of people for those that are now currently in harm's way than our veterans, because many of them have seen it. And as a grandfather, both grandfathers were World War II veterans, one of which lied about his age to get in, and jumped out of planes. He was a paratrooper and on D-Day, and he liberated concentration camps. And so I was very young when he passed away, but luckily my brother and my uncles got to talk to him a lot about those experiences, which were horrific. And so I think we just all need to acknowledge that those who serve, that have served us and currently maybe be calling to assist with supportive efforts in terms of what's happening in Israel and Gaza, that we all know that the harm of war is heavy and deadly, and that we are forever indebted to those who have served our country and have stepped up to fight for people's freedom and their ability to exist. So my endless gratitude to each and every veteran in this room, and thank you for including me today. Thank you.
Just to advise, we're going to go through the military themes. So when they play the Marine Corps anthem, my fellow Marines, it's a pleasure to have you stand up. Same thing when we went through Army, Navy, and Air Force. So on cue, thank you.
Military funerals are majestic and ceremonial. Prominent in such occasions is the flag-draped casket of the fallen patriot. The blue field of our nation's flag is placed at the head of the casket over the left shoulder of the deceased veteran, a long-standing tradition of our country. At the time of burial, our flag is reverently folded 13 times, representing the original 13 states. It ends with the final fold showing the field of blue and stars. Our honor guard will now lift the flag from the mock casket and move into position, demonstrating the flag folding. As the flag is being folded, I will describe the meaning of the 13 folds as they occur. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made to honor all veterans who have departed our ranks. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, and God we trust. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country. The sixth fold is symbolic of where our hearts lie in relation to our sense of allegiance. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered the valley of the shadow of death. The ninth fold is to honor the faith, love, and devotion of all women and mothers. The 10th fold is a tribute to all our fathers. The 11th fold represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon. The 12th fold represents eternity. The 13th fold leaves the stars pointed upward towards as a reminder of our nation's motto, in God we trust. An honor guard member will now inspect the flag. It will now be transferred to our honor guard leader. During an actual ceremony, the honor guard leader will then kneel in front of the next of kin, reciting these words. On behalf of the President of the United States and all our armed forces and a grateful nation, please accept the flag as a symbol of our appreciation. If able, please stand while we play taps.
seated.
My brothers and sisters, the next time you see someone in military uniform or wearing a military hat, thank them for their service. Your kindness will brighten their day, and they will know Americans really support them. Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce the Scoutmaster, Cody Short. He will explain the ringing of the bell. Mr. Short.
Bell ringing on Veterans Day honors the celebration that occurred on Armistice Day in 1918, signaling the end of World War I. When President Eisenhower changed the name of Armistice Day to Veterans Day, he wrote, "Let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all those who fought so valiantly, on the seas, in the air, and on foreign shores. To preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us reconsecrate ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace, so that their efforts shall not have been in vain. The ringing of the bell is to remember the cost of war and the desire to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding between nations." The bell will now ring 11 times.
Right now, I'd like to introduce Joy and David Turner of an organization called David's Drive.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are humbled to be here. And we feel gratitude for having an opportunity to share our story. God is good. We were blessed with two beautiful children. I have a daughter, Samantha. She's a speech language pathologist. She's married. She has a baby. I'm a grandma. We also have a son. Our son is waiting for us on the other side of eternity. David was only 20 years old when he died. I came home from work and I found him in his car. He was unresponsive. He was pulseless. My husband came out. We pulled him from the car. We did CPR. It was unsuccessful. An autopsy revealed some abnormal cells in the ventricle of his heart. His death certificate says suspected heart arrhythmia as a cause of death. David died December 16th of 2009. We struggle every single day with why God would only allow us to have David for 20 years. And we figure when we finally get a chance to ask God why, the answer's not going to make any difference to us. David did not serve. He was not a veteran. He worked at the Coatesville VA. He worked in the canteen, and he absolutely loved that job. And he loved the veterans that he worked with. And in the evening at the dinner table, David would sit and he would tell us stories about what happened during his day. And one day he came home from work and he told us that a veteran was in the canteen and was making a purchase. And as he reached into his pants pocket, his pants fell down just far enough that David knew he didn't have any underwear on. And so he called him out and said, you don't have any underwear? And the gentleman explained to David how he was off the streets. He was fighting homelessness. He was going through programming at the Coatesville VA. And the clothes that he was wearing belonged to someone else, but he didn't want to wear somebody else's underwear. David told us if I had enough money, I would buy everybody up on Coatesville, VA, their own underwear. David was absolutely heartbroken to hear that there were veterans up there that didn't have things that he felt were essential. On May 22nd of 2010, it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and we should have been celebrating my son's 21st birthday. But instead, we were celebrating his short life with a barbecue, and we asked all our friends and all of the family, they would come to the barbecue and bring a pair of underwear, and we were going to donate them all in David's memory to the Coatesville VA. That day, we had 150 people show up. We ran out of hamburgers. We collected a lot of underwear, well over 4,000 different items. Although our collection ended, the donations didn't stop. We would go to the front door and open, and there on the porch would be some underwear. So it was clear to us that David had identified a need, and we had a mission.
We had a mission, and as silly as it was, underwear would be David's legacy. David's Drive 831 became a public charity in June of 2010. Since that day, we have hosted 14 underwear drives and collected more than $800,000 worth of underwear, socks, and t-shirts. David's Drive is a 100% volunteer charity with no paid employees. We run the charity out of our home. Our garage is typically filled with donations and sometimes our living room. We do our best to improve the quality of life for hospitalized and homeless veterans. David's Drive 831 has been so well received by the community that with their support, we've been able to branch out and fund additional programs. So since we began this journey, we have wrapped and delivered more than 15,000 Christmas gifts for veterans in southeastern Pennsylvania. We sponsor parades, bowling outings, sporting events, festivals, and concerts. We had the pleasure of taking groups of veterans out fishing on the Chesapeake. We have been able to fund Days of Beauty for women veterans. Just recently, we assisted in funding the Adaptive Cycling Program at the Coatesville VA. This program allows veterans with physical limitations to enjoy bicycling on specially equipped bicycles to fit their needs. We have started a lathe program at the Coatesville VA, giving veterans an opportunity to create something with their hands. During the early days of the pandemic, David's Drive was able to assist veterans with food insecurities by providing 400 bags filled with groceries. We support the Guitar Club, the Knitting Club. We have donated over 250 bicycles, not only to veterans, but to kids in the community who are without. We completed a beautification project for the residents of the nursing home at the VA, and we had a playground constructed so the children of the veterans would have somewhere to play while visiting their family members.
So my husband keeps saying we. It's us. It's you. It's the people. It's the community. It's the businesses who support David's Drive. We are also honored to work very closely with the HUD-VASH program. It's a supportive housing program that helps formerly homeless veterans live successfully in the community. One of the issues with that is that they can't take a used bed into a new apartment for fear of bed bugs. David's Drive bought 733 brand-new beds, so these veterans have a bed and a pillow to lay their head on at night. We also provide these formerly homeless veterans with the household items, microwaves, plates, air conditioners. Continuing David's vision helps others, but really it helps us. It helps us recover from the tragedy of losing our son, David. David would be very proud to know that his name is associated and with veterans.
Thank you to all who have served, and happy Veterans Day. Sorry, we're just getting on the right line, on our program here. Excuse me for a moment. So I'd like to introduce the American Legion. We have the Honor Post. Les, could you stand and acknowledge? And Jack. Thank you for the community service and also for your service. Thank you very much.
Okay, right now, we'd like to have all World War II veterans that are in attendance, please rise or wave your hand. All World War II veterans. For your service.
It's my honor, my privilege. We organize ourselves on the fly. It is my honor, my privilege to recognize Velma sitting right up here in the front.
My brother was in there London, and when they started driving the Germans out of Italy, those people welcomed them. Those Italians welcomed our men. And he talked about that quite a bit. How did you do this?
And I would like to tell you a little bit about Velma.
There was no battle, but I had to work long hours.
And on the way in, she said to me, and I'm not going to talk, don't read me. She served in World War II. And that's at the time, yes, she did. And that's the time when women really had a hard time getting into the service.
That was the first time I went north from Georgia.
That's right, from Georgia. She was a Morse code message transcriber. And she was stationed in Washington, D.C. and Belmore, New York. It was her job to transcribe the Morse code into the official code of the war. So y'all who were there kind of know that.
Yeah, but that was a security station.
That's right. And she still knows some of the Morse code. And she is one of our residents here at Talnide, and we are so proud about her.
Our next honor will be Richard Reeder. I know him as Dick Reeder. And let me pause for a second here. Yeah. Richard Reeder was living in Coatesville when he was drafted into the United States Army on January 5th, 1954. He served in the United States Army for 2 years. Dick was stationed in Sandia Army Base, Albuquerque, New Mexico. The Sandia Army Base was the principal nuclear weapons installation for the Department of Defense from 1946 to 1971. Dick worked in the assembly of surface-to-surface and atomic weapons. He attained the rank of Private First Class at the time of his discharge from Fort Bliss, Texas, on January 4th, 1956. Dick received the Marksman and Rifle Badge medals. Upon discharge from the Army, Dick attended Penn State, where he majored in industrial engineering. It was his work site at the Colorado Fuel and Iron Corporation in Claremont, Delaware, that he met his wife, Loretta. Dick and Loretta moved to Telhai from their home in March of 1999. Dick has been active Telhai volunteer. Dick and Loretta were married in 1961. I also like to say special thanks to Dick because he has done tremendous service for the community. He served on our planning commission. He worked on our comp plan, and he's also been an advisor to me for many years on issues concerning Telhai and for Hunter Township. So I'd like to, Brandon, if you can introduce on behalf of Dick Reeder, Rich Descano, could you accept for him today? Okay, and I just have to pull my notes here, and I got this in front of me here now. Okay, so now I'd like to acknowledge Albert Hammonds, you know him as Al, and Al served in the United States Air Force during the Korean War. He was stationed in Mississippi, Maine, and Korea from 1950 to 1954. He spent 13 months in Korea. Sergeant Hammonds repaired the plane radios and received training in Mississippi. Al and his family, they're not present today, they're in Virginia. So again, I would like to ask, yes, Rich, this guy. Yes. You're pointing at that to Mississippi. My friend, do you want to present? Yes, thank you. Third time I'll get the hang of this. All right, we have a recognition for a gentleman who has served on our Elgin Honeybrook EMS, a fellow Marine, and Steve Jones, if you could come forward. Great. If you could give us a brief bio.
Absolutely, thank you. I'm a member of the U.S. Marine Reserves at a Beco Company, 2nd Battalion, 25th Marine Regiment in Harrisburg. I served there from 1994 through 2000. Currently, I'm a police officer full-time and part-time. I have been a member of the Elverson Honeybrook Board of Directors for the past 10 years and a member of the organization for the past 23 years. Thank you.
At this point, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Florio, and we have a presentation for recognizing the borough veterans.
It is my honor to introduce to you Winfield Hess, a Marine. I would say former Marine, but there is no such thing, I understand. Winfield was born in Claremont, Delaware. His family eventually moved to Coatesville, where Winfield attended school, graduated from Scott High School in 1951. His family moved to a farm in Honeybrook Township in 1949. Winfield was drafted into the Army in 1951, but then enlisted in the Marines. He served in Korea from 1952 to 1953. He was assigned to a air support unit as a mechanic, repairing generators and a variety of vehicles, eventually earning the rank of sergeant. He was honorably discharged in 1954 and wed his high school sweetheart, Patricia Ann. He was assigned to a Ready Reserve unit in which he served until 1959, during which time he rose to the rank of staff sergeant. After his discharge, he worked for the Bond Bread Company, where he delivered bread and helped create routes for other drivers, becoming a salesman. He then worked for a period of time for Bethlehem Steel, the Gaines Mines Division in Morgantown, at which time he moved his family to Honeybrook Borough. He started working part-time at the Honeybrook Post Office and became a full-time carrier in 1973, retiring in 1976. Winfield loved to play and coach baseball and helped build a Comet Field in the borough. His coaching skills served the community well as he led 2 Class A softball teams to become national champions in 1980 and 1981. Thank you, Winfield, for your service to your community and service to our country.